Oh, Plot TV, what's shaking? We are inside the halls of Parliament right now, where we are here for our press conference this morning. Oh, pardon me?
You can't.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No shooting in the hallways. Okay, all right. We're not allowed to shoot in the hallways. Yeah.
What is your game plan?
The game plan for us is to go in and set up as soon as we can. Yeah, at 10:30 we have a press conference. But now Elizabeth. Restrictions.
I know I've been filmed as you walk in and walk out. Cameras will actually film you.
I was doing a little commentary there. Right. Okay. As long as I keep my mouth shut, we're allowed to record though? If I don't talk, can we record?
We just wanted to get the entrance for a second.
Don't shoot that direction?
Okay.
Okay.
You're not going to catch them. I know it sounds stupid.
I'm following any rules you guys have, so I understand.
Right. We understand completely. There's lots of rules. There's always rules. We like breaking rules.
How's the signal, chat?
Charles Lynch press conference on Charles.
So we're going to go in the green room. So just go.
Awesome.
Okay. I'll be.
What do you want to go in the green room?
Well, you guys can probably bring your we can go set up. We can get in as soon as we can get into the room and set up. We'd be happy. So yeah, that's. Is it okay if we go in and set up during that one? We won't bother her to do it after. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll go in the green room. If Lisa shows up, can you just send her to the green room as well? And then Miss May is going to be joining us. Yeah, so she'll.
Now I have questions for you about audio stuff. Is there? Okay, thanks. Sure. When we set up our system, is there an audio patch? Like, do we have a? We can plug right in.
So we can just go in.
Yeah, just go straight.
What kind of an output is it?
Just for my
Yeah.
other ones. Oh, yeah, one's good.
Okay, cool. No worries. Should be good. Excellent. So 10:30, the press conference goes on. Sure. I have two cameras, but it's very small stuff. One handheld, one on a tripod.
No problem. More. Perfect. You can come in if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
Following you.
Referring to implied or direct direction from this party and its candidates.
And I'm going to not respond as in the way that Bruce has, because I think that any speaker is not bound by precedent. I'm hoping that Andrew Scheer will, in reviewing the track record of how we're treating the committee, unless the members of Parliament stand up on their own feet and say, look, we're not voting for this motion. We know we're told to vote for this motion, but maybe the fractures around this current Senate mess will embolden a couple of conservatives across next time finance and say, look, this motion is problematic. We're not comfortable with it. We look at the letter from Brett Raffhaver and Tyre and Elizabeth. We're not going to accept this motion. And that would be, I'll have
Belfast or to co-sign the letter of
Office contacting us when it's ready to find out.
And we have another process underway right now, which we also invited Mr. Del Mastro, is that in negotiating unanimous consent last June, I negotiated a spot on the review of the Board of Internal Economy study mandated by Peter Julian's motion at the end of June of our last session. And that is going to be a challenge for us because there are technically 9 members of Parliament entitled to share one spot in the review of the Board of Internal Economy. We're doing that amicably and by consensus from the Bloc Québécois, from the Green Party, and from our independent members. And we also offered the Del Mastro the opportunity to take that because on the basis of the rules, he's in the same position as the rest of us, and we could find that as well.
I'm moving up there.
How's that signal?
So far, we're pretty good.
Do you think we
It's
should
dark right here, but I'm gonna move
try and
up.
use the Blackbright playbook to do the whole thing, or should we try and set up the unit here and do it?
We can do both. Like I can log out and go on like Vapor Central or something, just so we have both, no matter what.
Okay, that's a good idea. Set it up. Yes, Mark. I agree. 2 is better than 1.
Yeah, everyone's quiet in here right now, guys. As soon as we start talking at a regular level, and as soon as I move forward, I think everything will be okay. Jeremiah is going to go on live from his HP laptop with the direct audio in from the microphones, and we're going to also film from the playbook. I'm going to probably log out right now, and I'm going to log back in as Vapor Central, I guess. Livestream.com/Vapor Central for the playbook feed.
Right.
And stay on here, livestream.com/Pot TV Network for Jeremiah's
Yeah, we'll
laptop
definitely.
feed.
Well, you know what we can do is if this does go down for any reason, we're going to be broadcasting through my cell phone. We can switch back to your playbook at any time to the Pot TV feed.
You could always just leave me on this right now, and I don't have to go off, and you could log into
Yeah, I just
Vapor
want to make
Central
sure we have it covered. But if this is working and people can see it, that makes me happy because often with the unit here broadcasting on my LTE thing, it doesn't always work so well. So having the BlackBerry around is nice.
Check this out.
Yeah, I know our parliamentary press passes feel pretty fancy. We look like zombies.
We're a little dark over here. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna actually be up here when I broadcast. Something like this, which should look really nice. Hopefully it's a good sound. Thanks, Myrna.
What's he say?
He's just giving us the tips on if it looks good. Go stand up there for a second. My wife is gonna stand up there. Like it's a press conference. Let's see what this looks like.
On the second row with using the back of the chair.
Well, whatever. And then I'll show you what everyone's looking at. Just to give you guys an idea of this room.
How do you respond to that?
Those microphones through the ceiling?
Yeah, they got mics hanging all over the ceiling.
So I guess anyone who speaks in the room can be picked up.
I don't know how it all works.
Well, to their system, like you have yours on audience mics.
Yeah.
They want to be able to get a clear sound throughout this conference. They can't have someone answering questions that you can hear.
Michael Mage is outside with Matt Oliver, Christine, and Russell Barth smoking weed out on Parliament Hill.
Still on Cloud TV?
Yeah.
Nice. Getting all set up here. Better? A path? Okay. For the on the ramp?
I have no idea.
Okay. Against the wall. That should be okay.
If anything, you should probably be like right here if you
That's not a
can.
bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Will that be okay? No? This side? Okay.
All right.
They don't like it there.
Yeah, well.
You know what? What if I give you another position?
Me?
Right to the right of that chair.
Do I have to? Because
No,
this is...
no.
Okay.
This is like I said,
Honestly,
this is
I'm already all set up here. Thanks, man.
So yeah, Jeremiah, this press gallery actually has like a whole bunch of line outs and everything else. You can't really see them; it's too dark over here.
They should do us the trick, though. I hope.
But there's probably like 100 line outs all around.
Yeah, exactly.
Give you guys
I'm
here's
using
my
the board.
cell phone's light. But yeah, there's like all over this
Fascinating
room.
technical broadcast.
There's like one of these every 2 feet.
I can't believe she's actually doing He probably has more
This playbook needs like a light like this.
It does. Yeah, I know. That was our one thing. We were broadcasting at the Prairie Cup there, and it was really dark when we used the playbook, unfortunately.
Yeah. Gotta get one of those clip-on like LED lights or something.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to be broadcasting from my phone wirelessly.
Pretty soon he's going to hit the boat.
Networks found.
The leader used to do it.
And
There was at least two.
there we go.
And this one, this time he said,
No networks found. What is that?
So Myrna texted me to do a sound check earlier, and Aaron was on stage. I'm not sure if the mics are on, how that all works. When she goes up there and stands and starts talking, it might not actually go through the mics right yet. So I'm not sure if a sound check is even appropriate.
Yeah, exactly.
Because no matter how far away I am, it won't matter
It won't
anyways.
matter. Well, you know what? I wonder if we should just record off the damn playbook.
Like I said, you should probably just do both. You can always go into my Vapor Central or whatever, right? Because you have the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like through Procast, or you just change it over.
Right at the top, yeah. Wait, we could do a little bit of a test. Right?
yeah. I got staff like that.
Okay, that's all good. It's not gonna go live.
Oh, you gotta be careful doing that. It brings up the other camera in the studio.
Oh, yeah, but it shouldn't knock us out, though.
I know, but
My lawyer has all this paper. I'm assuming the RCMP has that.
Alright, so that's all. There's no way to test that, unfortunately, at this point. Unless. 2 minutes. You know what maybe we should do is, you just broadcast on the playbook. I'll record it with this. It's recording right now, isn't it?
yes.
So even if we just have a backup here, why do we need to broadcast from this unit? Is there a difference? Because with the sound is a little bit better. But I'm worried about it cutting off and us not having it at all if we try and screw around. Right now it's all working perfectly. Why even bother taking the chance of not showing it to the public once we start?
That's true.
You know what I mean? We'll have this as a backup recorder. Then I can go around and shoot still photos with my camera as well. Or I could get it 24 frames per second.
Right now it's going on this cam, eh?
Yeah, it's on this cam.
Switch that up. Okay, it's black and has 2 metal
That's because it needs to be restarted.
One male, one female. It's Velcro. It's yours. They're all like that. that was the joke. That's why he understood, I understood. You didn't have to explain the joke to him.
I want the same joke for him.
Okay. Yeah, mine's funny.
Still going to this camp.
Pretty good. Yeah, that's a good one too. I like watching you guys fight. It's funny. We don't fight.
Yeah.
Set up music bomb.
As you call now, the mob rule. The mob rule.
Even born.
I wasn't.
Should I turn the frame rate down a bit?
No.
No, leave it? Yeah, you're right, because we were not even going to bother with this, so that's okay. Yeah, we don't need to broadcast this one live. We'll just
CBC
broadcast live. What's up?
CBC just shared a story about us.
Yay!
Get Marc Emery home from U.S. prison.
Oh, good.
Libby and Greening. It's like a minute old. I'm about to share it.
Very nice.
All good to go? You guys okay? The guest of the business?
Aha.
See camera on the truck. That's actually your camera. That's the camera?
Yeah.
Which one? We have several. We have 3.
Just watch your step.
I'm Jodie Emery. I'm here today calling upon the Public Safety Minister Stephen Blaney to please approve the transfer request application of my husband. My husband, Marc Emery, is currently incarcerated in Mississippi State, where he is serving a 5-year sentence for selling seeds through the mail from Canada. The United States government has agreed that Marc is eligible for transfer to Canada. They've reviewed his application, and they've said that he is able to come home. Unfortunately, I'm just waiting on the Canadian government to agree as well. It's simply a document that the government has had since 2011 to review Marc's transfer request, but since July of this year, we've been waiting for the government here to make a decision on my husband's transfer request. It's very difficult for me, and I'm bringing a picture here of my husband and I in prison. I have to travel all the way down to Mississippi to see him, and it causes a lot of suffering and expense and hardship for me to have to go so far to see my husband. And I'm simply asking the Public Safety Minister, Stephen Blaney, to approve Marc's transfer request to come home and to recognize that there is enormous public and political support for Marc's transfer over the years, asking for him to please finish his sentence in Canada. So I'm honored to be joined by members of the opposition who are here to represent many Canadians who feel that Marc Emery should be transferred home, and I'm grateful for their support in advocating for a Canadian citizen who has never harmed anyone, for him to be able to return to his home country of Canada, and that the government should recognize his citizenship and bring him home to me, his wife, who desperately wants him back at home close to me. So I'd like to ask Libby Davies, the Honourable Member of Parliament Libby Davies, to comment on this.
Well, thank you very much, Jodie. My name's Libby Davies. I'm the Member of Parliament for Vancouver East, and I've known Jodie for many years, and Marc. And the first thing I want to say, Jodie, is that you've been remarkable in your courage and your steadfast support of Marc. I've watched you over the years and just the tremendous work that you've done in keeping this campaign alive and bringing it to the public attention. And I totally agree with you. There's tremendous public support to bring Marc home. You know, I was thinking about this issue on my way here and remembering that it was July 2005, so more than 8 years ago, that Marc Emery was arrested by the DEA in Vancouver. I actually remember the day very well because of particular circumstances, and it's really an incredible story that this Canadian, who would never have been charged in Canada for selling seeds on the internet, was arrested and then fought the whole extradition process, of course did get extradited, has now received this jail sentence. It's really an incredible story of someone who really has posed no threat, no harm to any Canadian or any U.S. citizen, and has had to go through this incredible process and is now still serving a sentence. I've written to many, many ministers of justice over the years, first of all about the extradition, but now about trying to ensure that Marc is returned to Canada to serve his sentence. And I think it's really important that we speak out clearly and say to the Public Safety Minister today that we want him to consider this case on its merit. They should be putting aside political ideology and political considerations. I was very distressed to see the comments from Mr. Blaney's spokesperson on Monday, who, basically took shots at MPs saying, well, the opposition parties, they want to continue to make the drug trade their priority. This press conference today is not about the drug trade. This press conference today is about a Canadian citizen who has gone through due process in the States to be returned to Canada, has been approved by the U.S. Justice Department to be returned to Canada. So this issue is about whether or not we have a Minister of Public Safety who will be responsible and look at this application and not delay it until it's too late, but look at this application and to make a determination on whether or not Mr. Emery meets the criteria, which we believe he does eminently, and therefore should be returned to Canada so he can be close to his family, his wife, his community, to serve out his sentence. It's that straightforward in terms of the issue that we're presenting today. So I'm very happy to be here. I'd also like to say that the NDP public safety critic, Randall Garrison, couldn't be here today. He's in Toronto, but he also very much supports Jodie and this application to the Canadian minister. So we want to say to Mr. Blaney, put aside the politics, do the right thing, allow Marc Emery to come home. You'll be well supported by Canadians if you make that decision. Thank you.
I'm Wayne Easter, the Member of Parliament for Malbec for the Liberal Party of Canada and the Public Safety Critic for the party. And I too want to congratulate Jodie on her campaign to bring Marc home. It's the right thing to do. And I'm going to approach it a little bit of a different angle than Libby did. I'm a former Solicitor General, which is now called the Minister of Public Safety. And I've had considerable experience with the International Transfer of Offenders Act. In fact, I've signed quite a number of transfers when I was Solicitor General. And I think it's important to mention here what was the purpose of that act, and agreements signed with other countries to allow for the transfer of offenders between those countries, and in this particular case, it's the U.S. Simply put, if there's mutual agreement between the two countries, it would allow the prisoner, the offender, to be transferred closer to home. And when you believe in a rehabilitative system, and you believe in not punishing the family of the offender who's involved, then that makes a whole lot of sense. To bring the person who's been charged, the offender, closer to home so they can be with their family. So the family isn't suffering that they can't see, in this case, their husband. That's important to the family and important to the individual in terms of getting on with life when they get out of prison. And until Vic Taves, I'm going to mention this, until Vic Taves came along as minister, it was almost standard procedure for a Minister of Public Safety or a Solicitor General to sign those transfers when there was agreement between the two parties involved. And I think we ought to make a determination. If the prison system is all about vindictiveness and punishment, or if it's about rehabilitation and not punishing the other family members who are not the ones that are in prison. There's as Jodie said, Mark's transfer has been approved by the United States Department of Justice. Mark's sentencing judge and prosecutor both support that transfer. The only stumbling block is this government. Now, there's two key criteria in terms of allowing a prisoner to come back to Canada and serve out the remainder of his sentence in this country, and that really is that the individual doesn't pose a threat to Canada and that he's not a member of, he or she is not a member of organized crime. Marc Emery clearly fits the criteria. He has the support on the American side, and it only makes sense for this government to allow that transfer to occur so he can serve out the remainder of his sentence in his own country. What's Canadian citizenship mean? That's one of the other key questions here. This is a Canadian citizen has served a lot of his time in the United States, and I believe the government of Canada has an obligation to sign this transfer and allow him to come back into Canada. And my last point would be this. Stephen Blaney is a new Minister of Public Safety. Stephen Blaney, as Minister, has the opportunity to turn the page and say that this isn't all about political ideology, vindictiveness, and punishment. Marc Emery has served a lot of his time in the United States. He can serve the remainder of his time in this country, and all it takes for him to do that and be here closer to his family is the minister's signature on a document. That's all we're asking this minister to do. Thank you very much.
If I can, I just want to add my words of support as Member of Parliament for Saanich Gulf Islands and as leader of the Green Party. It's very clear that Marc Emery, who has been put in a prison in Mississippi, think of that with his wife living in Vancouver, the distance is extraordinary and the costs to the family are huge. Je vais ajouter un peu en français parce que c'est clair que M. Blaney, maintenant, comme nouveau ministre, a l'opportunité pour faire quelque chose différent que l'ancien ministre Victez. Comme un groupe de députés ici, nous exigeons M. Blaney de signer le permis pour Marc Emery pour finir le temps en prison ici au Canada. Ce n'est pas une demande d'ignorer le crime, mais c'est clair que c'est un crime plus politique que vraiment criminel, mais ça c'est l'autre chose. C'est clair maintenant que le gouvernement des États-Unis est en accord avec la transition pour Marc Emery pour revenir ici au Canada pour le fin de son temps en prison, plus proche vers son épouse, sa mari et aussi toute sa famille. C'est clair que c'est une question de justice et tout le monde ici exige, demande à M. Blaney signer les formes et permis que M. Emery, quelqu'un qui fait une menace vers personne, pour M. Emery de revenir au Canada. C'est une question de justice. Merci.
This is for Jodie Emery. I guess you said the request has been in since 2011. Have you heard anything at all from public safety with regards to that, whether it was under Taves or with the new minister? And just quickly also how long Emery has left in his sentence?
Well, I haven't heard anything back from the minister myself, except for receiving correspondence from supporters who received letters acknowledging the receipt of a letter, but basically saying nothing. I've been tweeting at the minister. Twitter is very popular and useful, so he's quite aware of what I'm requesting, but I have not received any answers at all. Before, when Marc applied in 2011, it was the United States government that initially rejected his application, and he did have to wait 2 years. But since the approval of the United States Department of Justice in July, the Canadian government has been able to sign off. There is no deadline for it. It simply requires a bit of pressure, I imagine, but I haven't received any response whatsoever, and I do hope that I will receive one. Marc is doing a 5-year sentence. He was facing 30 years to life and accepted a 5-year plea deal, which began in 2010. His early release for good behavior is 85% of the sentence, and that's July 9th, 2014. So Marc doesn't have too long to go in the remainder of his sentence, but it would make sense to us for him to come home and finish his sentence closer to home on Canadian soil.
And also as a follow-up, some of the MPs mentioned that they think that the fact that it's sort of been unanswered may be politically motivated. I'm wondering what you make of those comments, whether you agree.
I think it's fair to say that my husband, Marc Emery, is very high profile. He's well recognized as a marijuana activist and advocate for legalization. He has always used peaceful, nonviolent means to promote that idea. But this government has taken a very firm stance against marijuana legalization, even though the country next to us is legalizing it right up against our border. I believe that this government isn't interested in transferring Marc. They're not interested in many transfer applications, and I hope that they wouldn't make it political. But unfortunately, as pointed out, the answer they've given is about drug trade, and that's not what this is about at all. It's about a Canadian citizen under the treaty seeking to be brought home. So it might be political. This government tends to take a firm stand against marijuana legalization, and I believe that might have a role to play, but I sure hope it doesn't.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. And thank you again. Really. I need to, so we'll,
I'm going somewhere else.
if
You
that's
guys
fine, we'll find out.
just go, yeah, just.
Thank you so much again.
Here, I'll give you that anyway. Okay, thanks.
Okay, yeah.
The picture, you mentioned the picture, is it available in your online
Yes,
as
this one
part
I
of the
think
media
we do.
feed?
I don't have a media kit, but we do have them online.
Is it where
Oh, absolutely. If you like to
where
send
can
or,
we find it?
I could email you a copy later today, or if you were to go to the home. This one for sure is on my Facebook page.
Yeah,
Excellent. Well, it's in my profile there.
and it's free to use by media.
Yep, and there's a lot of pictures there too, so
Okay.
I see them anyway. Thank you very much.
Any thoughts, Jer?
Great conference. Great to actually be here on the Hill and have the MPs speak up on Marc's behalf. I hope that the government is actually listening. I know they have a lot on their plate today, but yeah, this pressure can't do anything but help, and hopefully it's enough political pressure to actually make these conservatives wake up and do something about it.
That was powerful, eh?
It was powerful. Yeah, it was great.
Very meaningful.
Yeah, it's great to see this in court, that's for sure. It's just
Just
nice
the history behind it.
Yeah. Everybody's on our side, except the bad ones.
So yeah, we got another recording over here at the Logitech,
We got 3 recordings,
and then
and then a 24 frames per second version.
nice.
So what I think I'll do in the end is we'll probably mix the 3 together and make a little compilation video with the 3 of them.
Yeah, take the best audio track and then just cut
Precise.
between all the best videos.
It'll be off this one. We got a good audio track, so
Sweet.
I'm gonna stop that now. Woo! I think we did a good job today.
Yeah, Myrna's saying great job, crew.
Excellent. Yeah, and I like the angle you had right in the front there. That was the way to do it. Playbook worked quite well for these things.
Yeah, I got a pretty strong signal.
Do you record on your camera?
I did. I got a 24 frames per second version. The beginning of it was a little shaky because we were like just getting down to it. So what I'll do is I'll probably make a good version with all 3 videos. Put them together. We'll clip the best. Get a good version.
Jodie's still over there talking with
Yeah, I took some photos
someone.
and tweeted them out.
It was nice to see Elizabeth May here, and
Yeah, it was great to see you guys. It was so cool.
the former public safety minister. That's awesome.
And
Except-
Libby's so fantastic too.
Yeah,
Everybody
Libby's-
is so great to have these people on our
Libby's
side.
a vet.
You know, we were watching the Russell Brand thing. Did you guys watch that?
Socialist revolution. Oh,
well,
jeez.
but did you hear what he said though?
Okay,
about
98% of his stuff he says is on point,
Yeah.
which is that there's bad shit happening in the
He
world.
didn't say and did you hear when he was referencing government? He didn't say he wanted a government. He said he wants admin bods, and he was talking about something local, which I do think we need a redistribution of wealth because 300 people have more money than how many millions?
Yeah,
So
well.
their wealth needs to be redistributed in a fair way.
That's ooh.
Then why should anyone want to make more money if it's
Mark
just going
has-
to get given away?
It will be redistributed by itself. It won't have to be taken away from them.
But it gets redistributed by hiring people, by paying people to work for you, by giving money in that way.
Exactly.
I don't think the forced element is just
So how do we?
ill thought
What
out.
happens when 300 people have more money than the
You
rest
think
of the
they
earth?
have more money, but they don't really. It's being like them to have that
Well,
much.
they do.
For them to. Have
Well,
that,
no, he's right, correct.
They do. They do. They have it all. They have a lot. They have all of it. It's not fair.
And it even goes smaller than that. Like there's actually 80 people on the planet that have more wealth than the bottom 50% or something like that. Or
No, it's ridiculous.
yeah, it's
There needs to be a redistribution, but it doesn't
No,
need to
it-
be happen by force.
No, is the forced element is what's created the.
I'm not saying that it has to happen by force. I'm saying it will happen naturally. It
Yeah.
will be fair. That's what we want a new system for.
But that's not what Russell Brand wants. He wants 80% taxation on corporations.
I don't believe in any of that.
And, no, that's what he believes.
Well, obviously the system.
And he wants a computer program to control it.
Oh, really? I didn't read his article yet.
Yeah, it's weird.
Did you? Where did you see that?
So I got one back.
Anyways, yeah, that was a weird little sideline little thing that doesn't even really matter.
Bring them home to experience. No, it's actually a button. They think the U.S. is worse.
I'm still live.
Mark gets home, he gets out next July no matter what, or he gets transferred, spends a little bit of time in prison.
So he's either closer and you have a little less time.
Yeah. It's also interesting because if he does get transferred, if he's brought home, serves time, he'll have a record permanently here, so for traveling or...
There was a lot of people in these seats actually at the time. There was probably over a dozen people here, reporters, camera crews. It's kind of dark in here. It was hard to...
Hey, where have you been all this time? It's like, I've been told there's no record whatsoever on this whole case if he just gets kicked out of the US. I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't know how to play that with the minister. It's almost like, hey, if you really want to mess with us, transfer him, because then he'll have a record. But I don't know how it's going to go.
They don't impose it, you're not. It's a law now.
It's mostly just a
Or it's going to decline them. But
You're still
we've been here.
Go ahead.
I never committed any crime and I'm going to suffer for this. That's not fair either.
I don't have my garbage can, go camping and forget it, and then I have to wait 2 other weeks. But I fill it up every time. And more. I got 2 bags.
So Jeremiah and Aaron in the back still getting packed up. Jody's over there chatting. We're just gonna get out of here any minute. Sorry?
It's not my business to tell you where you can shoot or where you can.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to out there.
Some areas where you.
That's right.
Some areas where you're not.
So I got that on the corner. And obviously stop us from the sink. So it's like that garbage can. And it pisses me off. Speed jug.
Yeah, the San Nugas guy was warning me. Like the security before him.
That works to our advantage, though, right? I mean, this policy is non-partisan. Prohibition is not about, left wing hippie. There's a lot of right wing type people, especially in the U.S. There's right on crime. There's all these right wing types here.
It's one of those interesting spots actually where things really kind of, where it's like, they're like, people fall in different ways depending on where they are ideologically, where it's like either they're more libertarian or they're more, it's interesting kind of how.
We can all still come to the same conclusion, at least on the drug policy. I mean, if you don't like pot, by all means, legalize it. But if you like pot, then you want it to too. So there's a win for everybody. But so I really appreciate you coming out, and if you guys need anything, do you have all my info? Or are you sure?
I do actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
all right. Thanks. You can find me on Twitter too.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
nice.
Should be prime ministerial.
That's true. I guess I'll leave that.
We got 3 versions, Jodie, on video, and a direct audio track.
No, but I was happy. I said, yes, okay, fine.
So we got it all. And photos. Chatters liked it out there.
Yeah. We're losing viewers every minute.
Oh yeah. Well, there's not much going on anymore.
No.
Well, it's
Well,
for the
there's
rest of the day.
there's some activists outside that we're gonna go meet.
Yeah, we'll go.
Go
Find some senators.
Yeah, exactly.
Jody's into mischief now.
Well, hey, we got press passes now. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
We run the show now.
Yeah. Yeah, I found out that I
When are we ever going to be back?
Check.
All right, before you guys leave,
Yes.
you're going to Libby's office, right?
Well, we were all just gonna run up there, grab our things. She left her coat in there too.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back down and not cause any trouble.
Where come back down?
Come back down the elevator and
Out the building?
out the building, I suppose. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
is there
Unless
any
we're allowed to hang around.
Yeah.
Well,
tourists
you-
Can we
allowed
go
to-
harass some senators?
You are, she's not,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately.
All right.
Do I need, if I were to go get a press pass, would I need to go?
She's the owner. She owns me. So.
I own this press.
Yeah, she does own
The
this.
thing
press.
is that as long as...
This'll stop.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I will be. I understand
We're
the
not
Once we're
policy.
in the hallway, we won't be doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
We just weren't
Because
aware
you
of
will
it
be
earlier.
intercepted on the floors by security. because-
Sun News intercepted me too while I was just standing right
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Yeah, no.
But
We'll
you'll
try
be,
not
like
to.
I said, you'll be, if security sees you on the floor, you will be stopped.
Of course.
I can tell you right now, so just try to make it as
You mean if
quick
we're
as
recording,
possible.
right?
No.
At
Just
any
in
point,
general?
they'll check
Correct.
our IDs
We're not
and
allowed
stuff.
on any floor except
Where
the
you're
foyer
going.
of the House Commons, third floor north side.
What's the third floor?
It's where the press gallery has their offices. And that's it. So, and then, or the 5th floor cafeteria.
I see.
Oh, that's where we're getting coffee.
We have to just come and go
Yeah,
essentially.
that's
right?
fine. What I'm saying is you
Can I go to the press gallery afterwards and like for question period and stuff, or what's going on at 2:15? Where do I go to find out what's going on here? Can I
just
watch
go-
question
well,
period?
yeah, I'll bring you into the question period, no problem.
Oh, that's
Sit
Oh,
you upstairs.
wonderful.
Oh my God, that'd be.
And since I am media with
You
my
gotta
own
get in.
media, am I
Yeah.
allowed to go get it?
Unfortunately, you're not. And
Well, if
I'm
we
not
go
being
get our
a
press
pain.
pass.
I'm not being a pain, but
Oh,
the thing
no.
is that you're not media.
But I actually am though.
She
I'm
owns-
the editor.
she's the
and
owner.
But she's our on-air personality.
Yeah, but she's not accredited to a press gallery.
Well, we could change that.
If I
We
go
could go and
talk
get
to them, yeah,
accreditation.
because
Well,
I'm.
the fact that she held a press conference and is on the subject just takes away all of the credibility of having her become.
Well, she owns the.
I
But
think
he's saying
it's
it's a conflict of interest.
it's a conflict of interest.
Go to
Yeah,
House
you can still
Commons,
watch
whether
House
you go
Commons,
with the press
watch-
gallery.
yeah.
Oh.
General
Yeah.
Canadian.
I'm just saying where I'm
Yeah.
going to
You
sit
guys
here,
could get
you have
rid
to
of
be
these
accredited
passes.
through us.
Right.
I understand.
Okay.
Oh, so we can go in question period one way or another.
Well,
I
if
want to
you're
be
able
there
walk
today.
around the building and nobody stops you, which I find pretty strange.
Yeah.
Lainey's got them all watching. They're all.
See, what happens is that you belong to us. Okay?
Oh.
You're under
that's
our
so-
rules.
Ominous.
So we don't want to get you in trouble.
What I'm saying is that you're under now that you're taking the press gallery, you have to follow the press gallery rules.
Right.
Makes
Break the
sense.
rules, your pass will be retrieved, you'll never have access to the building again.
All right.
Okay, so I want you guys to follow the rules that are here that
Okay.
We
we
need to
have to
know
Are there any
follow.
rules we should know, like outright?
Like I said, like
no
don't
peeing in the
walk
bushes
around-
outside.
Outside you do as well. Behind your car. Stop doing it.
Okay.
That's not allowed.
Everything I've just said should not be filmed.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
So put that down.
Okay.
We have to go back.
Any
in
final
time
thoughts,
to
Jody?
Resolve that
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Okay.
I wanted
Well,
to
'cause we are
know
doing a live
if
broadcast.
A quick photo
We're always
of
doing a
us
live broadcast.
here, standing up against the
Can somebody
podium.
take a
Is that
photo of
allowed?
us?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay,
I
excellent.
would
That'd be
love on
great.
this camera
Before
or
we do
any
that,
of
you have
the
your
reason
name.
I'm still standing here is I want you to have my business card. And you guys don't realize, but you're able to. I have a video. of
Jer,
this whole
we're the
press
best.
conference.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm
We-
going to bring it back to.
I want him to tell us the rules so we know which ones to break.
Yeah.
Mics are live, by the way.
Well, the mic's allowed.
Perfect.
To who?
Thank you so much.
But I have
for that.
another press.
They're just
card
always
here, so I'll be at the
Okay, yeah.
Oh, so we could go up and
All right,
we
well-
could really speak our mind then, couldn't we?
No.
The president's allowed to have an opinion.
Come on, you guys. There's a little group photo
Not
here.
allowed to editorialize. Or maybe, sorry, yeah.
Okay, can I say microphone?
Going the other side.
Okay, yes.
What am I doing?
What side are we on?
Hello, Prime Minister Harper.
Press conference is over.
Oh, I was, okay,
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. It's
Oh, I know, okay, very serious.
Okay, you want me
Yeah, we'll
to
do
take
his
it
first.
Yeah, so the eyes are looking.
Maybe take a couple
that's
just.
actually good.
Nice.
I think you like that one too. Okay, go ahead, Deb.
My turn. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One, two.
I'll take one.
Check.
I'll take,
Oh, thank you.
Good. Take one with the whole page. There you go. Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
I appreciate you handling our.
That's fun.
Very much.
We're tourists too.
Cover photo.
Yeah.
You're the best. All right.
And they do tours too, eh, guys? If you go to the...
I've been here
you?
before. Years
You guys
back.
go back to the entrance of security, there's a little visitor's desk there, and they can tell you what the tour schedule is.
Oh, excellent.
But I
Say
mean,
bye,
you guys
Pod
can
TV.
go to the you could go sit in the House of Commons now if you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. The question period is the
I'm
most
logging off. I'll see you guys in
active
20 minutes.
time.
Bye.
But I mean,